Hello, folks. This is Kevin Rice, and we're going through a course in miracles. We're going through chapter 24 in the text, section 5, the Christ in you. This is a powerful, powerful section from the text. And I'm going to go through 3 paragraphs first. It's 10 paragraphs in the purple book. And I'll stop after the 3 paragraphs after my commentary, and I'll open the floor so you can ask any questions that you have. I trust that all of you are doing well. You are blessed because you are the light of the world, that the Christ in you shines to everyone if you allow it to. And that is your purpose. That is why you are here. The Christ in you is very still. This is a very important statement because your egoic mind is not still at all. We know the difference whether you're listening to the voice of the ego, the voice of fear, or whether you're listening to the voice of love. And whether your mind is crazy and busy, monkey mind, or whether your mind is still and peaceful. Okay? The ego always speaks first and always speaks loudest. Let me repeat this. The voice of fear, the ego, always speaks first and always loudest, right? Why is it first? Because the ego has much to defend. It does. And so it speaks quickly to distract you from who you are, your identification, your reality, and so forth. But the Christ in you is still. All right. This small, still voice arises in your field of awareness when your mind is emptied, your slate is cleaned, and then and only then can you hear the voice of God, the Christ, beside you, in you, the light emanating from you to the world, when you begin to understand who you really are. And thus does he rejoice at what he sees, because he knows that it is one with him and with his Father. Specialness, too, takes joy in what it sees, although it is not true. So let's unpack this here. The word specialness. Erin, my spouse, knows this well. I say it in tongue in cheek or not, I don't know. But I say this to my dog too, Gino. I love you, but you're not special, right? But you are holy. You are sacred. Specialness, let's talk about special love and special relationships so you can understand what we are discussing here. Special love means that I am raising another dream body, John Doe, for instance, and raise him on a pedestal and asking John Doe to give me what I need, a sense of completion, a sense of oneness. So if my physical body is next to John Doe, then I'll feel, quote unquote, complete. Right? Here's the rub. Special love always turns into special hate, because John Doe did not give me what I thought that he would give to me, right? And from the psychology of A Course in Miracles, it says that John Doe has stolen from me my treasure. So what the treasure that God has given to us, John Doe stole it from me. And so because the special love that I had with him now turns into a special hate relationship, special hate relationship with John Doe. Okay. So therefore, I'm in conflict and perpetuating the sense of separation that I have with John Doe. Okay. So the purpose of A Course in Miracles is to translate and transform your special relationships into holy relationships. It is not to discard your special relationships, but to again transform and translate those special relationships, special love, to a holy love and a holy relationship. That's it. Okay. So therefore, in special relationships or special love, you will see sin. In holy love and holy relationships, you will see only holiness, right? Because in the holy relationship, which is the stepping stone of the present moment, the past and the future do not intrude upon the present moment, okay? A little further down, it says, wishing makes real, and surely as does will create, okay? The world is nothing more than an outward picture of an inward wish, right? And if my inner wish is the separation, right, then that is what I'm going to experience into this world, period. However, if my wish is completion and union and oneness, then that is what I will experience in my dimension. Again, we are referring to what? Dream states, right? As I said previously too, right? That most people are asleep inside the dream, right? You're asleep and dreaming of bodies. Again, what we are talking about here are dream states. You're asleep and dreaming of bodies. You're not aware that you are the dreamer. You're not aware the dream is coming from you. You are still dreaming unconsciously. Your dreams are not lucid. You still have a dream body. You think the dream body is your real self, and you are a victim of the dream that you are experiencing. We want to do better than this, right? And become awake inside the dream state, allowing your dream of fear to be transformed into a dream of love, right? And then you become aware that you are the dreamer. Not the self-image Kevin Rice who's dreaming the dream, but my split mind is dreaming the dream. Half of it is fully awake, right? And the other half is either asleep in the dream, which is hell, or awake inside the dream, which is heaven on earth. Okay. I hope that clarifies things for you. So the question on the table for us is, the power of a wish upholds illusions as strongly as does love extend itself. Okay, so we have two dynamics here then. One is projecting my own unconscious guilt to the world. I'm a victim of the world that I am experiencing, right? Somebody is dreaming this dream for me, right? Or I can replace it with extension, which is I extend and express the good, the sacred, and the holy to the world, to everyone, with no exception, because there's no specialness here. We're on a level playing field when we understand that we are one. We don't have 6.5 billion minds here. We have one mind, and quantum physics and quantum mechanics show this as well. One mind. Okay, and of course, the Miracles reiterates this over and over again. One, the egoic mind deludes, and the Holy Spirit, the Christ, your source, heals. Okay. A little further down in paragraph 2, in dreams, effect and cause are interchanged. For here, the maker of the dream believes that what he made is happening to him. He does not realize he picked a thread from here, a scrap from there, and wove a picture out of nothing. Wow, the operative word there is nothing. So let's go back to the dream state here. Okay. This is why many people do not are not aware that they are dreaming a dream, right? Because they go into the details and the specifics and the intricacies of a dream state, and and they are not experiencing themselves as a lucid dreamer. They're not aware that they're dreaming a dream, as which happens many times with you guys when you have a sleeping dream state and you are unaware when you are experiencing a sleeping dream state that you're dreaming. It seems real. It seems tangible. It seems serious and alarming from time to time, especially if you have nightmares, right? Then you wake up from your dream and you understand that everything that you thought was true was never true, is not true now, and never will be. That those sleeping dream states that you just had and you recall upon when you wake up has no cause, no substance, and no consequence. It just happened in a sleeping dream state. The same is true about this living dream state that we're experiencing right now. So the purpose of A Course in Miracles is to teach you how to become a lucid dreamer and to be one with the dream that you just dreamt. That's it. And how do we experience this oneness? We experience this oneness through what? Forgiveness. As it says, where could your peace arise but from forgiveness? Right? Okay, let's delve into this for just a moment here. Some principles in unity were on the platform of Unity on the Bay. And this is why Reverend Chris Jackson and I, 20 years ago, actually more than that, we would tour the country with a presentation called Unity, You, and A Course in Miracles. Okay. And we also refer to Joel Goldsmith, who we love. The same metaphysics and principles are in his books as well. So, and of course, the principles of A Course in Miracles, which basically says this. Let's go back to the sleeping dream state here, okay? If I'm experiencing a sleeping dream state where I'm at war with another person, right? To bring a sense of healing in that sleeping dream state, a dream of fear, to make it a dream of love, what do? I dislodge myself from the person, place, or thing within the sleeping dream state. Okay? So healing does not occur on me interacting with another dream body. Healing occurs when I recognize that I'm the dreamer of the dream that I just dreamt last night. Okay? The same is true here in terms of healing and forgiveness. Yes, from time to time, we have to forgive individuals. But generally, what we are forgiving is the projected guilt that is producing the dream state in the first place. This would be lesson 132 in the workbook for students, right? Lesson 132. I loose the world from all I thought it was and accept my own reality instead. So let's talk about the living dream state here, okay? If a person asks me for healing, right, which people do all the time, almost every day, where does the healing come from? Okay. The healing comes not from fixing another dream body's broken body. Okay. It's not about a person, place, or thing in the living dream state. Healing occurs when you recognize the nothingness of the person, place, or thing within the living dream state, because you're aware that you're dreaming, right? So it's not so serious. It's not something, right? And so your level of resistance goes from 10 to 0-point field. And when we say 0-point field, we mean you understand its nothingness of it. And this is true. This is why it said, he does not realize he picked a thread from here, a scrap from there, a person, place, or thing, and wove a picture out of what? Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. That brings healing. That brings understanding. That brings communion. That brings joy, right? And so therefore, this dream body called Kevin Rice doesn't really mean anything. What does matter, what does have meaning is that Kevin Rice understands that that is not his identification. It's not his reality. That God is as incapable of creating the temporary as the ego is incapable of creating the eternal. And you and I are unchanging and unchangeable. Yes, we can use the dream body to communicate the good, the sacred, and the beautiful to the dream state and help other people within the dream state to wake up from the dream state and to gingerly and gently allow that dream of fear, this dream of separation, this dream of retribution to be gently transformed through forgiveness to a dream of love, a dream of joy, an easy dream where all your struggles and striving is set aside because you are taken care of from your Father, from the Holy Spirit, and the Christ that lives within you and walks beside you as well. I'll give you one more thing from paragraph 3 in the Purple Book, and then I'll enter any questions that you have. He is at peace because, this is so important here, he is at peace because he sees no sin. In other words, he's not in the dream state. He's not bound by time and space, right? He is moving and living and abiding in the eternal, timeless now. Now. He's not futuring himself. He's not pasting himself. Look, I get reminders every day. My spouse to me yesterday said to me, "Hey, Kev, you're futuring yourself." And I was like, oh, I was just futuring myself. And I let it go. And I returned myself to where? The present moment. Letting the future go, letting go of the uncertainties of the future, not activating the past through grievances or grudges anymore, but allowing my one mind and its holiness and its loveliness to be experienced and also demonstrated to this world. Identify with him, the Christ, and what has he that you have not? Okay? In other words, you have everything that the Christ has. Your inheritance, your treasury, love, union, completion, happiness, joy, goodness, kindness. You have all of that. You say, Kevin, I don't have any of those things. Well, if I don't have those things, it is because I have thrown my treasure away by my own choosing. I chose to identify with the voice of the ego, the voice of fear, and defending that pile of dust that we call a body, right? As A Course in Miracles refers to it as, right? Instead of aligning myself with my source, aligning myself with the Holy Spirit, aligning myself with the Christ. Somebody asked the other day, what do you do if you have an event or a circumstance or happening that is disturbing you or bringing fear to you? And my response is very simple, and I do it all day if I need to. God is not fear, only love, right? God is not fear, only love. This is the proper form of denial, denying the denial of truth. So when illusions arise in your field of awareness, what do? You practice denying the denial of truth. If I see a mist arising on a highway and I think it's real, what do? I dismiss it. I drive through it because I know that I'm dealing with illusions. Reverend Ewell and I yesterday did lesson 14, I believe, Reverend, and Um,
14 was yesterday.
Pardon me?
Yes, 14 was yesterday.
Yes, which is God did not create a meaningless world, right, Reverend?
Correct.
And I told Reverend Yule, and he has gone through A Course in Miracles more than one time, but I said to him, I said, this lesson 14, is so powerful, so powerful. I said, I use this all the time. I do. So in the lesson, God did not create a meaningless world. It asks you to be very specific about this, anything that is happening, bringing disturbance into your world. It says, for instance, God did not create war, and so it is not real. God did not create a meaningless world. God did not create cancer, and so it is not real. God did not create a meaningless world. God did not create lack or scarcity or limitation. God did not create bankruptcy because it is not real. God did not create a meaningless world. You say, Kevin, what is your default that you use every day? Those things, those things. And there's no doubt when I use it either. Okay. Um, in other words, you are denying the denial of truth. You deny what is false and you affirm what is true, right? There is nothing to fear. That's an illusion, right? There's nothing to fear. God is only love. That is the affirmation. So those affirmations, God is only love, is in alignment with the will of God, the thoughts of God. The other one should be discarded because it's not true. Because God did not create those things. We did collectively. All right. And finally, how beautiful his hand that holds his brothers, and how lovingly he walks beside him, showing him what can be seen and heard, and where he will see nothing, and there is no sound to hear. So I today, going to lesson 15 with Reverend Yule, in that lesson, it talked about seeing. It says, your body's eyes do not see. It says, all that you're really doing is you are image makers. Okay. Sink into with me on this one. In other words, you think that you're seeing through your physical eyes, but you're not. All that you're doing, all that your mind is doing is producing images, right? This image, this glass of water is an image that I have made. This microphone is an image I have made. This book is an image I have made. Those bodies are images that I have made. This pen is an image I have made. So what we're doing is we are pretending to be image makers, right? You guys get this? I hope so. So let me just open the floor here. And I'm sure you've got some questions to ask, and I'm here to answer those questions for you. The attendee is asking, what actually are we forgiving? Extreme forgiveness is this. That number one, extreme forgiveness entails the fact, and the Course in Miracles says this, the miracle establishes that you dream a dream and that its content is not true. Okay. So extreme forgiveness means and entails that you recognize that you are the dreamer of the dream that you're dreaming, right? In other words, you're not a victim of the world that you see. And secondly, that the content of the dream of fear that you play and dance with from time to time, or all the time, is not true. The content of that dream state is also not true. Okay, that is extreme forgiveness. And yes, there are moments where a person pushes your button and you have to forgive them individually. And A Course in Miracles gives lessons how to forgive an individual. If John Doe is somebody I hate and keeps pushing my buttons, but Jane Doe loves me. A Course in Miracles says, take the light that you see in Jane Doe and transfer that light to John Doe to make sure that level the playing field between John Doe and Jane Doe, because there's no otherness here. There's no separate shadowy figures in the dream state. That the content, the dream stuff, needs to be forgiven generally. The universe needs to be forgiven, right? That is forgiveness. So the attendee asks, so me talking to you and you talking to me is not real. It's confusing. Words are but symbols of symbols of symbols. So words are but symbols of symbols, so they are twice removed from a reality. So let me unpack this for you, okay? We are once removed from our reality, okay, when we give into the notion of the separation, the gap that you think exists between me and you. We are twice removed from our reality by identifying ourselves with the voice of the ego, the voice of fear. We are 3 times removed from our reality when we identify ourselves as a flesh or as a body. Okay. You say, this is confusing. Well, I'm trying to clarify this confusion by understanding what is really confusing is living in a dream state, a universe that is upside down, backwards, full of conflict, division, competition, and so forth. That is confusing. And it is not the will of God. And because it's not the will of God, it has no substance, no core, no reality at all. So what am I forgiving here is illusions. You never forgive the truth. You only forgive illusions. And that is the purpose of A Course in Miracles, is to teach the teachers of God to forgive any illusion that is arising in the field of awareness. That's it. Yet let your specialness direct his way, and you will follow, and both will walk in danger, each intent in the dark forest of the sightless, unlit by the shifting, tiny gleams that spark an instant from the fireflies of sin and then go out. Again, what we're saying here, what arises out of specialness is danger in the dream state, a tragic circumstance, if you will. Okay. And if we do not allow ourselves to forgive those special relationships and turn the relationship over to the Holy Spirit, what will happen? I don't like John Doe anymore. I like Jane Doe better. So I'm going to discard John Doe and replace John Doe with Gloomy Gus or Negative Nancy or whatever. The special relationship will replicate itself over and over and over again until we recognize what is causing the misery. The misery arises from specialness. Happiness and joy arises from what? My sinlessness brother or my sinlessness sister. So a clean mind sees no dark spot of darkness, of sin anywhere, ever. All that we are looking at is the face of Christ everywhere. And if we can't see the face of Christ everywhere, then we are deepened into the dream of fear, the dream of suffering, the dream of tears, because we have chosen that pathway. I have chosen the pathway of specialness and discarding the pathway of holiness. Yet it is joy to look upon decay. So let me repeat this. Again, we're talking about image makers here, as I said previously. Yet is it joy to look upon decay and madness and believe this crumbling thing with flesh already loosened from the bone and sightless holes for eyes is like yourself? Rejoice you have no eyes with which to see, no ears to listen, and no hands to hold, nor feet to guide. Be glad that only Christ can lend you his while you have need of them. Christ cannot see through your physical eyes, but you can see through the eyes of the Christ, as the Course in Miracles says. Christ cannot see through your eyes, but you can see through his eyes, right? So we're not talking about physical sight here. Again, let's go back to the dream state, the sleeping dream state and the waking dream state. Okay. That's not vision. That's not seeing anybody. All you're seeing is dream figures in the body. That's it. All you're seeing is dream stuff, right? It's important when you understand what vision means. Vision occurs when you begin to, as the Eastern mystics would say, I must shut my eyes in order to see. So how can I experience vision? By removing the gap that I think exists between Kevin Rice and you guys, from Kevin Rice and my spouse, from me and my neighbors, me and a stranger in the elevator, me from the homeless, and so forth. All these are a production of my one mind and therefore cannot be separate from me. Okay. In order to understand true vision is through forgiveness, right? And to understand that what I'm looking at in the dream state is nothing more than a reflection of my own wishing, as we discussed at the beginning of this section. I'm either a victim of the world that I see or I'm not. And what they see and hear and hold and lead is given light that you may lead as you were led. In other words, I'm being led not by Kevin Rice's machinations, okay? I am led and guided by the Christ within me. In concert with the Holy Spirit, in connection with my brothers and sisters, the mighty companions, as well as my Creator, my Father. The Father and I are one. The Father and I are one. Set aside the intricacies of Kevin Rice. He's not special, nor are you. But he is holy. His reality is holy. His holiness is real. His loveliness and beauty is real. The Christ in you is very still. He knows where you're going, and he leads you there in gentleness and blessing all the way. Look, I either have this on my post by my bed. It says blessings, right? Also, many times I take this rock, says blessings, and I put it in my pocket every day. And when I touch it and I see blessings, and I'm immediately reminded from the Course, I'm blessed as a son of God. I'm blessed as a son of God. I'm blessed as the Christ within me. I'm blessed in communication and communion with my source and my Father. I'm not alone. And I'm taken care of. Why? Because I'm blessed. Set aside Kevin Rice. It has nothing to do with him. It's not part of the doingness part of Kevin Rice. It has everything to do with the beingness, the oneness, the alignment with that oneness, and removing the gap that we think exists between here and there. But there is no otherness there. There's never otherness there. For what but Christ is there to see and hear and love and follow home? And so he sought for your completion in each living thing that he beholds and loves and seeks it still, that each might offer you the love of God. So don't shoot the messenger, because I'm going to give you a message here, okay, from the course. As I said earlier from lesson 14, right? God did not create a meaningless world. Lesson 15, you're pretending to be image makers in the dream state, right? But A Course in Miracles refers to this as a lifeless self-image. Let me repeat this. A lifeless self-image, all right? It's just an image, all right? And here where it says a little further down, he reaches through them, holding out his hand, and everyone may bless all living things and see their holiness. All living things, right? So there's a contrast there, right? A lifeless self-image, right? Symbols and so forth, as opposed to the unchanging, unchangeable nature of who you are, the Christ, the Son, or the daughter of the living God. That's the living part of you, the immortal substance of you. Do I want to attach myself and identify with, as what A Course in Miracles refers to as the entities within the dream state, the shadowy figures in the dream state, those images that I'm producing from my mind over and over and over and over again? I'm done with that. And I hope that you're done with it too. We are better than that. Would you rather fly with the wings of a sparrow when the wings of an eagle has been given to you? You're either going to identify as a body and see other persons as a body, or you will attach yourself instead with holiness. If your mind arrests itself on the body itself, then you're not seeing holiness there. You're seeing sin solidified right in front of your face. Did I say an expletive word there? I don't think I did, but it was going through my mind for just a moment. If I did have an expletive, I'll edit that out, but I don't think I did. But it popped up in my mind for just a moment. Back to the Christ. His perfect, this is so nice. His perfect lack of specialness he offers you. So, what? God doesn't think that I'm special? God's specialness comes from inclusion. The ego's version of specialness comes from exclusion. John Doe is special. Jane Doe is not. My spouse is special. My neighbor is not. You see this? And then I'm finally here, we're approaching 2 p.m. You who would be content with specialness and seek salvation in a war with love, consider this. The Holy Lord of Heaven has himself come down to you to offer you your own completion. What is his is yours, because in your completion is his own. Boy, in other words, as you let go of this endless search for separation, right? And understand that you're complete right now, that you don't need anything, right? In other words, you're no longer living your life going, what can I get from this world? What can I get from my husband? What can I get from my wife? What can I get from my kids, my parents? What can I get from my job? You're done with that. It's what can I give to you? What can I give to you? What can I give to my company? What can I give to my wife, my husband, my parents, my children? What can I give? Because I have nothing to get from you. because I understand I am complete. And I'm complete by, I'm experiencing my completion by my Father's completion as well. You see this? And finally, there must be doubt before there can be conflict. And every doubt must be about yourself. Let's go back to the self-image here. Does Kevin Rice, the self-image, has doubts? Yes, because from time to time he identifies himself as that body. Sometimes he identifies himself with this notion of a separation and the voice of fear, the ego. And therefore, what arises is what? Doubts, doubts, doubts. If I set aside the self-image called Kevin Rice and commune myself with my Father and the mighty companions that surrounds me, all of you, my brothers and sisters, equally holy. Nobody special, right? But holy. Then and only then, the Christ in you will arise in your field of awareness, and you will be blessed, blessed, blessed. So, that's it. The attendee asked, how can I reach God and manifest things in my world? First of all, it's not about manifesting. You're already manifesting right now, whether you like it or not. And so let's set aside. Many of you have watched the movie The Secret, right? Well, there's a secret behind the secret. Okay. The movie The Secret is about how to manifest things in this world. You manifest what you wish, as we just read at the beginning of this section, the Christ in you, right? You're going to experience what you wish. So if you say, I want to win the lottery, right? What you're saying to you is, I wish lack, limitation, scarcity. That's what I wish, and that is what I will experience. You see? So let's delve into in this way. You are either creating or you are miscreating, or what A Course in Miracles refers to as making. Making means that I'm going to manipulate time and space, the past and the future, to contrive a thing that I want. Okay? Maybe it's $1 million. Maybe it's a new car. Maybe it's a perfect boyfriend or girlfriend. Okay? So I'm using time and space, the tools of separation, to produce and manifest through my thoughts something that is temporary, ephemeral. Okay? Creation, on the other hand, is done through the present moment. It doesn't use the past and the future to orchestrate or manipulate anybody. It comes from the eternal, timeless now, the holy instant. You know, when you begin to understand your oneness with other people through forgiveness and so forth, what happens is that everything that you thought you wanted doesn't appear, because you never really wanted it at all. I'm turning to the text, chapter 20, section 4. Once you accept his plan as the one function that you would fulfill, there will be nothing else the Holy Spirit will not arrange for you without your effort. He will go before you, making straight your path and leaving in your way no stones to trip on and no obstacles to bar your way. Nothing you need will be denied you. Not one seeming difficulty, but will melt away before you reach it. You need take thought for nothing, careless of everything except the only purpose that you would fulfill. What is your fulfillment? What is your function here? It is forgiveness. Forgive, 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 forgive. You are forgiving the subjectivity that's happening in the dream state. Remember the last time you slept and you dreamed a sleeping dream state, right? and you saw a subjective perception of the dream body called Kevin Rice, and then you saw Jane Doe and John Doe with two subjective perceptions of the dream state that we are experiencing. You want to wake up from that sleeping dream state? Stop judging. Just suspend judgment, right? And forgive the subjectivity that is arising in the sleeping dream state as well as the living dream state. So, to answer your question, you need do nothing, careless of everything, except for the one function that you would fulfill. A Course in Miracles says, to give and to receive are one in truth. I will receive what I am giving now. If you are inspired to support Unity on the Bay and myself, you can text UOTB to the phone number 73256 and you'll receive a link to enter your donation and then drop down to ACIM-Kevin Rice to indicate that your offering is directed to this class. Or you can give through the website unityonthebay.org/give and drop down to ACIM-Kevin Rice under Select Fund. Your donation goes to support Unity on the Bay and the time and value we put into providing these teachings. I invite you to also visit onlylovingthoughts.com for all our A Course in Miracles videos and much, much more. Thank you, and thanks for sharing this A Course in Miracles Zoom class with other people.